From out of the man cave and onto the air, it's your favorite voice of ecstasy. It's John St. John with the best morning after ever radio show. 30-some-odd minutes of happenings, discussions, and full frontal nudity. So put your arms around your speakers. It's John St. John.
Hey, good Wednesday morning, everybody. How you doing? Yes, I'm John St. John, your wonderful host, and my guest co-host this week sitting in with me, and hopefully more than just this week. We'll see how much, if we can ever afford to afford paying you.
That's right.
But let's introduce my co-host Cynthia. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
We're having an interesting week. What a walloping coverage of elections, and just amazing what's happened here in the last day.
It was a bloodbath, wasn't it?
It was a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And we've got a couple of interesting topics. I don't know if we'll get to this hour, but I could tease it a little bit about whether you're a man or a woman, or how to treat your woman, how not to be a girl anymore.
That's right.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
How to treat how a man should treat a woman and know that she's not a girl anymore. There we go.
Yeah, how a man can tell,
If a girl's not a girl, I don't know. Whatever. We'll get to it pretty soon.
Is she old enough?
Boy, that just turned into a train wreck, didn't it?
It did.
Do we have any callers? No.
No, you have to make sure she's
I,
legal.
No one cares about you, John St. John.
Oh, thanks.
Seriously, it's too early in the morning,
It's,
apparently.
yeah, I mean, everybody's sleeping. Well, it's been a hell of everybody's been out partying.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends upon, what political party you're from.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or what direction you want the country to be going, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Election Tuesday has been historically like one of the greatest drinking nights of the year.
Yeah, absolutely, especially if you're a political candidate.
And especially if you lost,
I remember when I was involved, I used to be a precinct committeeman at one time. That's always fun. And, it seems like they mostly want you to obviously help get votes out, but mostly just go to these fundraisers. That's pretty much all I did.
Yeah,
come to my dinner. Oh, come to our dinner. Come to the Lincoln Day dinner. Come to the inaugural dinner. Come to the Downers Grove Township dinner. I mean, there's dinners all the time, all fundraisers. And then each individual candidate on every party. I mean, I was leaning more conservative, so I was going with the Republican side, but I don't always do that. I'm independent-minded. But anyway, the point is, everything I did was a fundraiser. We had actual meetings.
Okay.
We talked about actual issues sometimes, but for the most part, we were giving people accolades at these meetings, and we were talking about our next fundraiser.
And it probably cost you, what, about $200 for a dried-out piece of chicken?
Some of it was good.
Okay.
Actually, some of it, we did one at the Oakbrook Hilton, and it was actually really, really, that's for people who don't live around Illinois. It's in a fancy suburb of Chicago. Really, really good prime rib dinner.
Wow.
Surprised. But that one was, about $150 a plate, I think.
Okay.
And then, how you can buy the whole table for $3,000 or whatever,
Right.
Yeah, I didn't do that ever. But,
No.
a crazy night for drinking, especially last night and into the day. Basically, the bottom line is the Republicans are running the country again, it looks like, for the most part.
It looks like the Republicans are back. Pretty big. Now,
Where's all those L's and I's, as in libertarian and independence? When are they going to actually have a party?
they don't show up in great enough numbers, apparently. Or
know.
we haven't gotten the word out, but
My producer always talks about all the stuff on Facebook and YouTube, and like Mark Dice, Alex Jones, all these guys that are kind of more of like the I don't know what you want to call them, underground media. I don't know what you exactly Liberty Radio, I think is one of the terms.
okay.
Where it's they're talking about basically natural right kind of stuff. Follow the Constitution, keep the government as much as you can out of my life kind of deal.
Right, the way it should be.
They don't like red light cameras, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm all over the place because I could be a Republicrat. I really could.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you on the red light camera issue because I mean
Why, you like those?
those are 100% for your safety.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get that out of the. It has nothing to do with
you are being. Oh, he's being sarcastic.
Has nothing
He's being
to
very
do,
sarcastic.
Nothing to do with revenue.
I'm thinking of my producer, but
I know
Cynthia
someone
is
who
being
just got popped the other day, so nothing to do with revenue at all. It's all about your safety.
You know what? I almost believed you were being serious.
$100 is a small price to pay.
Yes, for the safety
for
of
the
the village
safety
and
of the village.
citizens.
It does take a village to.
Yeah,
or something like
we
that.
had an argument about that. Probably 2 months ago on a show, and the bottom line is there's just so many things that we just seem to allow to all these rules that we have imposed upon us, and not just in Illinois. We're taping here in a studio in the Chicago suburbs, but I mean, some states don't have income tax. That's great, but they got every other kind of tax and
Right.
fee that they could have.
Well-
Florida's a good example.
Yeah. I mean, did you hear about there was a shooting at the hospital the other day?
Where in Chicago?
Up in Highland Park.
Oh, here
just
in
on the
Illinois?
north side of
Chicago.
There was a shooting. Somebody brought a gun in and whatnot.
So
And
much for all the regulation.
And
right?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's a sticker on the door that says you're not supposed to bring guns in.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure
you
that
know,
sticker
I
works
mean,
really, really well.
that should be deterrent enough.
I actually am a guns rights guy. I don't know. I guess that's more of a conservative view, but the truth is, it was written in the Constitution for a reason. If we're going to
Yeah.
change it, then get 435 people and another 535 people to change the rules.
Right, and say we can't have guns, but
Yeah.
people love their guns, and I spend time downstate, and
I mean, I'm
they
carrying one
need their
right now.
guns,
Look, no, I'm kidding.
Now, however, we don't have a sticker that says no guns on the studio here, so
I don't know. We'll have to ask the producers.
I'm kind of
I don't think so.
maybe unsafe, but
Well,
that's
anyway,
okay.
did you hear about Florida? Now, my brother happens to live down in the great state of Florida, and we did a lot of films down there. It's actually legal to film, but you can't necessarily distribute it in a lot of the counties.
Right.
Kind of weird.
Right, they have public decency laws there.
Yeah, but you
Yes.
can tape. You can we shot the
Right.
the porno,
Right.
but you can't release the porno.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can buy fireworks, but you just can't light them off here.
No, you can't even buy them in Illinois. I don't think.
Well, no,
anymore.
I
You
think
used
that's
to be able
another
to.
state, though. You used to be.
Indiana. I don't know.
I think it was Wisconsin a while back. You could buy them up in Wisconsin, but you couldn't set them off in Wisconsin. So, but
yeah.
it was mostly people from Chicago going up
No,
there anyway. So
I don't think it was. I don't know about Wisconsin. I know in Indiana you definitely can buy them and shoot them off because we do it every year.
okay,
So I don't know about Wisconsin.
I don't know.
We used to do it in Lake Geneva, so it must not be.
I mean that was a long time
People
ago.
don't
Though.
know Lake Geneva, a very popular touristy part in southeast Wisconsin, and a lot. They call them the fibs go up there.
Yeah.
We'll say frickin' Illinois bastards.
Yeah.
But anyway, we used to blow them off all the time. Now whether or not they were legal, I have no idea.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
And they were big bottle rockets.
oh yeah.
But just an example of another rule. I mean, it depends. And then I don't know if it's better to have more federal laws or more states laws. I'm really kind of confused on that whole. We could talk about that we could do like a Richard Gore and go on and on and on about. He talks about theater and entertainment. We
Well,
can talk about politics for.
Let me tell you about the laws of the theater.
Yeah, well, no,
I
I'm
have-
talking about.
no, I'm just.
I'm
okay.
using an example as he would go on and on, but there's so many laws that are kind of redundant in a way.
There are.
Because they're state and federal, like marijuana. Now, I didn't hear the final results, but did that get passed even in Illinois for medical? I think that already passed. In
That
Illinois.
already passed.
Okay,
but we're
no,
having
it's Florida. Florida is trying to do
Okay.
now medical marijuana.
we're in Illinois. They're having issues about proximities of grow centers and where it can be sold and who can sell it and how many people can sell it, and that's a whole big mess.
Yeah,
But-
that's in Illinois. Yeah, right.
Right.
But what about federally? That's what I'm confused about. Federally, it's
Well, federally,
Can't do anything.
it's still illegal.
Isn't that
So,
weird?
Yeah, but the states' rights. I mean, I think that's in the Constitution somewhere.
It is.
You
It
know,
is. They
that-
give the whatever amendment says it gives rights to the states.
Yeah, there's states are free to make their own laws. That's why.
But they're not supposed to they're not the federal constitution is supposed to trump the state constitution. That's why I'm confused how all these states are getting away with it.
Right, I believe that's true too. I mean,
But I'll tell you, it looks like there's a lot more R's in the Senate than there were a month ago or whenever they recessed there.
yeah.
We're taping this in around the election week.
I think the Republicans took the Senate. They already had the House, but they probably built up a little bit more of a margin.
So can you imagine being President Obama?
I
I mean, it's the same thing as when Bill Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton was our president. It was the same thing.
Right.
He he basically had to kind of go and lock the
Right.
step with them, or else there was nothing to get done.
Well, I mean, do you suppose the results, really ticked off Michelle?
Well, she's probably going to be upset about her school lunch program thing.
But was she able to relax and eat her fried chicken like she
That's
was
what I
talking
mean.
about the other day?
Yeah, no,
So-
I know what you're referencing.
Yeah.
Hey, I think they'll eat their fried chicken regardless, even
Well-
though she doesn't want us kids eating
Oh
it.
yeah,
the kids can't eat
the
it.
kids eating it.
Wait, we better
You
not
know.
get racial on
Yeah,
this
let's
show.
not get
We've got
that.
black listeners
I'm
that I
just
don't
saying
want to
that-
upset.
I'm just saying that she said it. So
I know.
You know.
Very, very weird that it's coming from a very, educated African American
Right.
lady from Chicago.
Right. If you'll
Such a-
remember years ago when
Such a racist, not racist, but stereotypical
it is.
statement.
It is. Remember that one Fuzzy Zeller got
Oh,
got-
man. Well, that's
he
because he
got-
made fun of Tiger Woods.
Exactly.
You don't make fun of Tiger
no,
Woods.
you don't make fun of. Well, a couple years
Yeah.
ago you could have.
Yeah.
But
well, that's
you know,
because he decided to have
yeah,
sex
that's
with
right.
100 women at once or whatever.
But
or
maybe
within a
that's-
week or something.
Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But I don't know. His wife was pretty hot. So
Yeah. Well, she's that model.
yeah, she's a Swedish model. You know.
I can't remember her name.
Ellen. I forgot what it is. But
Not Giselle Bundchen. That was
No,
used to be Leonardo DiCaprio's girl.
no, I think her last name was like Nordigan or something like that. So
Nordigan?
yeah, I mean she was.
You making that name up?
No, I don't think so. We can look it up if you want to.
Yeah, I'm
but I
trying
don't
to
think
look
we
it up as we speak.
really have a whole lot of time. So.
Oh, we do. We have a whole, let's see, about 20 more minutes
we?
to talk about it. But, I definitely want to delve into the whole race, and I got a couple clips I want to play. But first things first, I want to talk about something that's important for people who are listening to us, because we have one of our wonderful sponsors, the sparkmaker.com. That's www.thespark, S-P-A-R-K, maker, M-A-K-E-R.com, is doing a special for the holidays, I guess. You go, and it's from a Facebook code. You just type in the capital F and then ACEBOOK 14, and you can get a deal on, maybe Christmas presents for the wife, whatever. Buying some gag gifts for the parties, for the whole holiday party thing.
They have things for the kids there.
Not really for
Not
the kids.
really for the kids. Okay.
I mean, this is like a Spencer's for adults, if you know.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
anyway,
So-
go check that out at thesparkmaker.com. Put in the password, and you'll definitely have a good time over there.
Wow. Okay.
But I think some of these politicians might need that after
Probably.
kind of soothe themselves after
Probably.
what happened.
I
I mean, it was a wipeout. I'm trying to pull up all the results right now. I have a clip that I want to play if I can find the clip here. Actually, I need to tell our producer it's a clip from. Oh, he's on the phone with somebody. Well, we'll get to it in a moment. But it's a clip of. Actually, it's a clip from the '70s of Archie Bunker. So we got to play that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird how, and my dad always talks about this, and even my history teachers used to discuss, where people who don't learn are doomed to repeat history.
I've never
in a
heard
bad
that
way.
before.
Ha ha, ha ha. Boy, you do it good. You should be a straight man. You sit here making jokes. I don't even know if you're serious or not.
I mean, never heard that before.
Cynthia,
Is this new? Did you
she's,
just make that up?
She's going over to the Improv after the show.
Okay, well,
No. Seriously, it's the clip is from like one of their first seasons. So what would that have been, like 73, 74, right around
I don't
Nixon time? Okay, and he's talking about the Democrats. So we'll play that in a little bit. But anyway, it's definitely applies to modern times, the 2000s, whatever you want to call it, the
Right.
2014s.
right. Well,
Because we'll be playing the show over, I'm sure, more than today.
That show would never air today, but it lives on in reruns, and
I think it would air with a lot of bleeps and
it has
blunders.
it has a lot of but these days,
Well, we'll get to that clip.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, I mean, the elections are just, I couldn't believe some of these states were just, the president kind of stayed away. Did you notice this time? The president of the United States, Barack Obama, he kind of stayed away from a lot of the contentious elections.
well, I think they told him to, and I would have too, but
That I'm not sure if they, who would, you mean the Democrats told him, the
course.
Democratic Party, you mean?
yeah, but the president doesn't have anything else to lose. I mean,
They call it a lame duck.
right. Well, I mean, I think he's probably gearing up to run for his third term, which he may appoint himself
when he appoints himself.
when he
because
just appoints himself to it.
he
But
does seem to act like a monarch sometimes.
yes, he does. I mean, King Barack.
But I am not partial. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. Like I said, I'm independent. But it does seem like sometimes he gets a little carried away. Mandates. Where do we get off making health care? Not that it's bad that we don't, try to help people that really need it. But why couldn't we have expanded the medical programs of each state, like Medicaid?
Well,
kind of in a way it is, in a way, because a lot of people can't afford it. It's like $500, for a single person
right. It's
to get per month. To
it's
get healthcare.
astronomical.
Yeah.
And there's so many people are wind up getting help.
But I mean, they got that thing, they got through that whole thing through Congress, and they just kind of pushed it through. And the president was like, you have to do this, you have to do this.
Right.
And he had a lot of good examples of people that really needed health care. I understand. I'm not bashing the program. I'm bashing the way he implemented it and the way now you get fined and the fact that nobody really can afford the damn program.
Right. Nobody can afford it. The states can't afford it. The government can't afford it. It's a big, giant business.
Yeah.
So-
Well, who can't afford it? The insurance companies. They love it.
They love it.
Yeah.
And, and then it hurts the doctors and it hurts the...
Well, speaking of historic, this isn't a resolution, this is actually an election. In South Carolina, they elected their first Republican, not that often that they get Republicans in that part of the South, but it's kind of spread out there. It's liberal, and then it's, conservative, right? It's the Bible Belt, then it's, you get over here by Alabama, and it's kind of the other way in Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
But now it's kind of switched. So South Carolina actually just elected their first black senator since the Reconstruction. So we're talking 1870s.
Okay.
So his name is, and it made a little bit of national news. His name is Tim Scott. And
Okay.
he had a pretty contentious rate. There's a lot of, believe it or not, racist stuff going around.
In South
about him.
Carolina?
In South Carolina. Are you
No.
surprised?
No.
Yeah.
No. It's,
So that was interesting. He's a Republican. He won a seat. So I think we barely got. I think we got a majority of 52 to whatever. What is it? 52-48. I think.
well, that would be enough.
I believe that's the majority, right?
Are there still... 51 would be a majority.
I mean, Mitch McConnell will be the Senate majority leader now instead
if
of
they-
Harry Reid from
if they
Nevada.
bring him back in.
No,
Yeah.
I think he pretty
Will
much
they?
because he's already the minority leader. I think he can automatically get in.
I
pretty
think
much.
he was the majority leader for a while, but then they lost it. So,
right, and they lost it.
so I guess maybe he'll come back.
I
but-
guess you're right. They do have a little vote. I forget how that works. It's like a caucus for the
Right.
pick who represents. But I think they're going to
Right.
go with him.
Well,
But regardless, what a hell of a thing. I
But-
mean, I think this caught everybody by surprise. I know people were upset about. I'll just list the stuff that's been bothering the president: ISIS, affordable health care mess because businesses are not,
Right.
able to do it. Yeah, they're not forced to do it yet.
right.
Ebola, that thing just popped up out of nowhere about 2 months ago.
Right.
What's another big one? The Benghazi thing. They still keep talking about the embassy where the gentleman got killed from, an ambassador, U.S. ambassador got
Right.
killed. And they were blaming Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State at the time, for kind of covering up the whole mess.
Yep.
So that's 5 big things that are kind of plaguing him. The
Yeah.
economy is still slowly building. I mean, it's getting there.
I don't know
You
if the
got to give him
economy
some
is building
credit. Well,
fast enough
I
for-
mean, we're doing more energy exploration than we've ever done. But I don't know if you can accredit the Obama administration or not. But that's a good thing.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the gas prices are going down. So
You
that's
got
good.
You
but
got to like that. But I have a feeling they're going to go back up in January. They'll figure out.
I
a way
have a
to
feeling
raise
they're going to go back up next week.
Oh, I
So,
hope not. No way, man. They
you
went
know,
down to 275
Yeah,
in
well,
Indiana.
that's only to get out the vote and say, look what we did. Forget about the rest of the 3 or 4 years.
There's a story I didn't save for the show, but it was a lady doing a report out in Arizona, in Phoenix, and that's exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
How it's, they want Americans to feel good. It's during the holidays.
Exactly.
It's election time. So let's push the energy companies to kind of
Right.
back down on the
Right,
prices.
that little October surprise that comes from out of nowhere.
Right, the October
You know?
surprise, I like that.
Yeah, and just lower it down because Americans typically have a short attention span.
Yeah, we do.
Many of us do.
We
Some
do.
of us remember everything, but
looks-
then
it
most
looks
of
like
us remember nothing.
Somebody remembered something because this is a big switch. This
Yeah.
is a big switch to have Republicans controlling the whole country.
Well, it is, and you
When
know,
when was the last time? Bush, the first term of Bush, right? I mean,
which Bush?
no George W. Bush
George?
from
I mean,
2000 to 2008.
Yeah, I believe it was. No. Oh, maybe that was Clinton. I don't
I'm
know.
the decider. That's
Decider.
right. man.
I'm a uniter, not a divider.
I'm a uniter. I liked him as a person. I'm not quite sure he was
Yeah.
the best.
I mean, he was
president
actually a really cool guy, and I mean, I think
I had a chance to
personally,
meet him at a fundraiser once, and very down to earth. He wears cowboy boots, which
Yeah.
I find very funny. I mean, you know what's funny about that? And I don't know if a lot of people know about the Bush family. They're actually from the East Coast. They
Yeah.
settled out in Texas back, back in like the 70s.
right?
So I guess that makes him a Texan. I don't know.
Right. Well, he's got a. I mean, I think the family's got that whole. They're tied in with oil and.
Well, I
arms
mean,
and all kinds of other things.
we gave Hillary Clinton a hard time for being a carpetbagger, moving to New York, and then running for Senate like a year later.
Well, Hillary Clinton's from Park Ridge.
Yeah,
so,
but she didn't run for Senate in Illinois, did she?
No,
ran
she
for
did
Senate in
not.
New York.
She was down in Arkansas for so many years.
Yeah, but that's why they called her a carpetbagger. But the
Right.
Bushes aren't any better. They're in Maine. They're in Florida. They're in Texas. So, but anyway, so it was pretty cool meeting him. I think he was a decent person. I just don't. I don't know. He had bad advisors,
right.
or there's some sort of, as my buddies always talk about, and even my producer gets into these stories. The Illuminati's involved,
Right.
or the five families, as I call them, all of the Jewish families, the bankers, the Jewish bankers. It's their revenge, I think, for all the
Right.
stuff they went through,
Well,
back in the
remember
day.
a couple years back when they had those billboards that said "Miss me yet"?
Yeah, that was
I
funny.
thought those were great. So
So-
and actually we kind of do. 'Cause-
But he did really get us in some messes. I mean, we went into some
Yeah.
wars that maybe we're still in Afghanistan.
well, yeah, we never really got out.
We're still looking for Bin Laden, even though he's dead, supposedly.
Well,
No, we're still over there, though, I think, trying to protect the borders. But why didn't we stay in Iraq at that point? I mean, geez. I think we should have stayed in Iraq and maybe tried moving over from Afghanistan over to Iraq. But
well, no, we had a great strategy in Iraq. We told them when
What?
we were leaving.
What was the strategy?
That was it. We told them when we were going to leave,
Yeah.
so they could
can get
bide their time and.
I just
You
read
know.
an article in the paper the other day that actually ISIS is really just another extremist form of. It's the Al Qaeda group, but it's like their extremist cousins or whatever.
That's it.
So it's crazy. Syria, what is it? Syria, Iran, and Iraq are pretty much controlled by this group right now.
Right. And I mean, it's all Sharia law for everybody, and that's not a.
That's bad.
Oh, that is such a horrible
I
thing.
don't care what anybody says.
I don't know how many.
Republican, Democrat, Muslim, Jew, whatever.
Right.
Sharia law is insane. Women
Right.
they can cut their heads off and all that stuff, stone them to death.
Well, actually, I was watching a TV show the other
bad
day about
stuff.
this, and they had one of these
Bad
leaders
stuff.
on about this Sharia law.
Yeah.
And it's like it's all about the men. Women don't matter.
Exactly.
This, that, and the other thing. They're showing a whole. Whole
it's reverse
mosque.
feminism.
It's a whole mosque full of men. They're holding hands. It's actually kind of gay, but yet that's really, really banned over
And they
there.
always wear
so-
and they wear dresses.
yes, and they do. So
But,
you wonder where the.
But anyway, we got kind of
You
off
know.
the subject. The bottom line is, we've had some issues with both parties. I think we really need a third party one day.
I think we do need a third party, and,
You know.
and I hope that maybe someday we will actually.
And I really think
have
that
enough.
whether they want to admit it or not, I mean, the Republicans are more of the Christian conservative. I think they would enjoy this. My sponsor, the sparkmaker.com, just as good as anybody else.
I believe so.
I mean, honestly, they might not talk about liking it,
Right.
being, everybody's following,
Well,
all these big, like Jerry's, what the heck is the dude's name? Jimmy Swaggart, thank you.
Right.
And Joel Osteen and all them. And they're great. And I like a lot of their scripture, but,
Well.
how they present it. And it's all upbeat and, kind of apply to your daily life. But the point is, I should have freedom. And we were talking about the libertarian stuff earlier and in our other show, but we should have the freedom to choose. If we want to, I don't know, if we want to look at the sparkmaker.com or if we want to go and,
Right.
enjoy dancing with all the girls over at the theater, or here in Chicago, you go to the famous Admiral.
Right.
Is that, I guess it's not a very religious thing to do. You don't bring your children.
Did Richard Gore mention the Admiral? Because that is a theater.
That is a theater.
Is he up on that? Or-
I think he is, actually.
No, okay.
We should get him back on the
Yeah,
air to
let's-
talk
maybe-
about the...
Maybe we'll ask him what's
the-
going on at the Admiral.
Instead of the plays, we're going to ask him about some other kind of dances.
That's right, because it's world famous.
He actually, his background is he owned a restaurant, and he owned, I believe, a social club or a singles club. So he's a little bit of everything.
Right.
I mean, his forte, I guess, is theater, as you hear 20 minutes every Friday.
Right, but not the Admiral, apparently. So
No,
that's-
not the Admiral. But I guess, the point is, again, we're kind of going
Yeah,
all
let's
over
get
here.
off the.
Is the point is the Republicans are in control, and here we go again. It's like a repeat of, what, about 10 years ago and 10 years ago before that.
They'll have their time, and tomorrow, the next day, it'll be all over the news.
Well, in Illinois, I think Oberweis lost. He was a senator, Republican senator, running against the incumbent, Dick Durbin, who is pretty influential in Washington. He's been around like 30 years.
Well, I
and
believe
he's the
he was-
minority whip. Or no, the majority whip. pardon
Majority
me,
whip, yeah.
In the Senate, the U.S. Senate. But anyway, I think I haven't seen the update here. I think he won by like 10%. So Durbin held his seat there. But Orwise has been running forever. He's ran for state Senate, state rep, U.S. Senate.
I think they call him a perennial candidate.
Dog catcher. I mean, he's run for everything.
You know.
Well, he is a state senator right now from the
Right.
western suburbs of Illinois.
Well, did he keep
Chicago,
running,
Illinois.
Did he keep running for that in addition to the
I
Senate?
don't know if he lost his seat yet. I think he's got 2 more years there, so we can look that up real quick too. But anyway, the bottom line is now we've got the conservative Republicans. Let's see what we do. I mean, the fact that Rauner won, who's the Republican candidate for governor from Illinois, is interesting because Rauner was talking about just give me a chance.
Right.
If you don't like it, throw me out in 4 years. I mean, it was a
Right.
great commercial. I like his
Right.
candidness. But what I don't like is if you read the Forbes article about him about a week ago, and one of the former Illinois Republican Party leaders is like a lawyer advisor for the party, Doug Indenhall, had a scathing article about Rauner about how he has that GTCR that he's part of. It's his company. It's like a venture capital investment company. They come in and they basically turn around businesses or close them down, whatever.
Well, nobody ever got that rich by being nice.
Yeah.
So
well, but
you
the
know.
point is, I mean, they did some brutal ads about him.
Yeah.
You know, people dying in all of his nursing
Right.
homes.
And I don't know if I really, I don't know how I feel about him in some manners, but I think actually, I give him a lot of credit because he bought this himself. So
He bought this
He bought
himself.
this himself.
He bought the
he
election.
didn't need other people's money. He had enough to throw
he
it
pretty
in.
much put all his own money.
He
What
put
was
his
it,
own
like-
in, and
didn't he spend like $15 million? And that's just in Illinois. But the reason
Right.
we can talk a lot about Illinois is because that was like a really important race for the whole country, just
Well, it
based
is.
on we're the center of the Midwest. We have a lot of industry here in Chicago,
Right.
and we're being taxed to death. Whether anybody, I
Right.
don't care if you're Republican, Independent, Democrat, we are being taxed to death. We talked earlier in the show about rules, but what about taken away from our income? I mean, they were talking about raising it to 5 or 6% income on top of the federal taxes. Income.
Yeah.
That's income.
That's just income.
And then we've got property taxes. We've got all the fees. We've got licensing fees. We've got, water tax and
Sales tax.
Cable. Do you know cable's got a recovery fee now and a cable broadcast fee? It happened in the last couple of years. They snuck that in.
Are you sure that's not like in slamming or something like that?
No, it's
slamming?
Illinois, and I called Comcast Cable, and it's at least in Illinois, it's tax on cable TV services.
Well,
a lot of those are added on, and they go to the cable companies. They're not taxes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There you go. They're their
They're-
way of getting taxes.
They're called below the line fees.
There you go.
They advertise a good deal, and
Uh-huh.
then you don't notice that you're paying 2 or 3 times more by the time you're done with it.
right.
I think
Cramming,
it's under
that's what it's called,
under
right?
the other charges and credits section. Whether or not
Yeah.
you want to call it a tax, I don't know. But the point is, there's so many fees. Actually, I think that's our producer, Kingpin Danny, by the way. But I think it is considered because the government makes them collect that. It's like on the phone, not Comcast, but like with AT&T, it's called a universal something fee.
Universal connectivity fee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Universal connectivity fee.
Who's got a landline anymore?
We do.
Well, I mean,
At my office, we
okay.
do.
All right.
My family still has them.
Universal Service Fund is the overall
Okay.
name for it, and basically what it is all that money goes back to the phone companies that they're supposed to build rural projects with them. Basically, so all the farms and all that stuff can get phone service too, but
And do they? No.
Well,
not really.
See,
They
There's
they
another...
they find out what's required, and they'll skirt right on the requirements, and that's it. And the requirements aren't usually good phone service to them. It's
See?
just okay.
another
they
tax,
can
and I don't know
somewhat
if that's
do
in every state. I know it's in Illinois and Indiana.
So it's do the minimum you absolutely have to.
Well,
right.
and
and then shove the rest in executives.
Well,
pocket.
that is the American way. I'll tell you that
And
much.
that's-
I mean,
That's that's what my point is. I mean, at least Rauner is talking about trying to curb a few of them, or at least stop. I mean, the property taxes over by us for the house my family has is like $25,000. Now it's a fairly large home, but still, that's a lot of tax.
that is a lot of tax.
But anyway, we could talk all day long, like Richard could talk about theater all day long. But you know what? We've come to the end of another fine program.
We ran out of time
here
again.
on the Best Morning After Ever radio show with John St. John and my special guest co-host Cynthia. And you know what? We'll see you again tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. Everybody take care. Have a good one.
I saw Sparks last night. She finally showed me her favorite website. It made my jaw drop at first glance. We had the wildest time together, ordering from the erotic shop, and I'd have to say, thesparkmaker.com lived up to its name. And now, I have plans to surprise her. I'll show her something she hasn't seen. Thank you, thesparkmaker.com.